Hey, all my God's girls out there. I just want to say thank you to each one of you that joined us live last night on our Facebook party. If you weren't on, just hop on over there and scroll through all the comments and questions and read those at your leisure. To everyone who was on, good news to you. I was scrolling through my prize vault and I have some things for all of you that were on there. So I'll be selecting some of these. So if you're at our Viera campus, check at the information desk this weekend. If you're at the Melbourne campus, I'll send those down via the courier. If you're out of town and I don't already have your address, make sure that you instant message me your address so I can get those to you. Again, thanks again so much. It was a lot of fun. One of the questions that I did ask was I am trying to improve the way that I do things on the online Facebook party to make it more fun and engaging. And I am soliciting your ideas. So please message me. I want to hear from you so that we can make this fun and invite friends to join us. They don't have to be part of the Calvary Chapel family to be part of the group. So we want as many women to be engaged and involved in God's Word as possible. This is, again, the second half of 12 Women of the Bible. And if you don't already have the study guide, this is what it looks like. Oh, that's the back of the book. And you can get this on Amazon, your local bookstore, at the Calvary Chapel Watermark bookstore. So last night we talked about Our Lady Eve and what does Eve's name mean? And we discovered that Eve's name means life or life-giving or mother of all who have life. So reading through a couple of the commentaries, I just wanted to share a few things about her character. Eve came into the world perfectly at peace with God and with her husband, the only other person on the planet. She lived in paradise, possessing every pleasure imaginable. Imagine that, ladies. Every pleasure imaginable. She never knew the meaning of embarrassment, misunderstanding, hurt, estrangement, envy, bitterness, grief, or guilt until she listened to the enemy and began to doubt God. And isn't that so many times what happens in our own lives? We listen to the enemy and he causes us to doubt. And usually that doubt is in the area of our weaknesses. And we have to cry out to God in those moments because with God's help we can make it through anything that's going on in our life, any hurt, any discouragement, any pain. If we're having issues with health, our finances, we need to cry out to God because He is able, and His Word, His holy Word, is filled with promises to help us through those times of pain and disappointment. So, ladies, I encourage you to stay in God's Word. The other commentary I have is from my Bible, and it says that Eve, the mother of all living, Adam was given supervision over all creation, but God declared that for him to live his life alone was not good. From the man's rib, God created a woman and presented her as Adam's wife. Climaxing his creative work, Eve was not an afterthought, a happenstance, but an indispensable part of God's plan. But both Adam and Eve, made in the image of God, stood as his representatives in a world to care for all he had put under their dominion. Purity and innocence were shattered, however, when the serpent entered the scene. Eve chose to believe Satan's lies. She was free to put her will above God's will, and she did. When she offered the fruit to her husband, he too disobeyed. In the New Testament, Paul clarified their actions, saying that Eve was deceived, whereas Adam ate the fruit with full knowledge of wrongdoing. Then, filled with guilt, the couple hid from God, fashioning fig leaf coverings to hide their shame. Not only had they broken their relationship with God, but they had broken their relationship with one another and with all generations to come, and even with the world and nature over which they were given rule. And think about that, ladies. Think about fig skins. Have you ever looked at fig leaves? That can be very itchy. So I can just imagine as a nurse the rash. But anyway, continuing on, God cursed the serpent and the ground for man's sake. He prophesied sorrow, toil, and death for the first couple. Pain for the woman would come in giving birth and rearing children and her relationship with her husband. She would resist his leadership just as his rule over her would be distorted. And so as I read this, think about, are there areas in your life that, some of these things are happening? Evicted from her lovely home, Eve conceived and bore 2 sons, although her joy at birth was changed by the heartache predicted by God. Cain murdered his brother in defiance of God's command concerning sacrifice, and God banished him. Eve was left childless until God's grace once again appeared in the form of another son, Seth, who became the ancestor of the Messiah. God always has a plan, ladies, no matter what's going on in our lives. Eve stands as an archetype of womanhood. Although created in the image of God, she exercised her will to disobey the Creator, daring to challenge his authority. Disobedience was not in itself a motive, but presupposed the motive. Her temptation was not merely to disobey, but to ultimately have her own way or get the possession of what she wanted. As her daughter, and we are, every woman bears her likeness. Eve's voice is an early warning to every woman to follow the path of disobedience, and a resounding note of hope for women when they fail. She encountered God's judgment, but she also experienced his grace. And that's what the promise we have, ladies. No matter what we're going through, we can experience the promise of God's grace. And just one more thought that I want to leave with you is from our study guide. It's something that Lisa Turker's, one of her sayings, is sometimes we miss the miraculous of all that we have been blessed with because we are so focused on the one thing we don't have. When this happens, we become disillusioned with all that we do have. And that's what happened to Eve. She was told not to eat the fruit. She had a life of luxury, and the one thing that she couldn't have, she wanted more than everything that she did have. So ladies, let's learn from Eve. Let's learn to have joy and satisfaction in all that God has blessed us with. And no matter what we have, how much or how little, when we look around the world, we are blessed. So have a great day. If you did miss what we discussed on Facebook last night, head on over there. If you missed the email or the blog, let me know. I'll resend it to you. Check the blog for everything that's going on this week. That's where everything happens, is email and blog, ladies, and on our Facebook page. So stay in touch, and I am going to finish my coffee. And those of you that know me may not recognize that I don't have my glasses on. It's because I see better to read without my glasses. Go forth to be blessed, ladies, and whoever's seeing this, have a great day. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.